I don't know. I can't remember a specific time, but whenever I was depressed or feeling sad or whenever, Fleetwood Mac was my go-to band. I love the Grateful Dead, love the Rolling Stones. Different time, different place for each type of music, but the Fleetwood Mac was my go-to when I was having those moments of loneliness or relationship problems. Fleetwood Mac was always my go-to band, and what a great band they were. Welcome to another rendition of Kingdom's Evolution, and I'm your host Joe Finn. Title of the show this hour, we're going to talk about smoke, and I don't want to say I'm unprepared for this show, but I want to tell you that probably this show will be more off the cuff than most of my other shows. I really haven't given a lot of thought as to what we're going to talk about other than smoke. You go, well, how the hell are you going to talk about smoke for an hour? It's like, well, we're going to do it. So bear with me. So you're a forest ranger. You're in a tower overlooking the Canadian boundary water forests. You can see mountains, you can see big lakes, and your job in that tower with your spyglass, with your telescope, is to try to detect fires as soon as you can. Now you're trained, you know what is smoke, how far away is it? You know, you're basically have a lot of information at your in your tower so that you can be the first sounder of the alarm that there's a potential fire. Are you with me? You're in that tower, you're there, you got your little ranger hat on, you got your telescope out on, you're 200 feet in the air, 300 feet in the air on a peak. Hey, not a good place if you're scared of heights, but you're there and you're the first alarm bell. When you see smoke, your job is to identify the smoke, where it is, and let everybody know that there's smoke there. Okay. All right. Now, you're in the tower, you're looking out, you see smoke. You're through your spyglass. It's 100 miles away. You can barely see it, but it does appear to be emanating from the trees, and it's so soft, so little smoke that you can barely tell if it's potentially just a cloud. It's just a low hanging cloud, and it may not even be smoke from a fire. So you don't pick up the phone right away and call 911. You don't pick up the phone and say, hey, latitude, longitude, smoke on the horizon. Could be, could be something bad. Needs to be checked out because it's 100 miles away. It's not like you've got, you know, 50 people that are going to hop in a helicopter and go put that fire out right away. I mean, it's when you call in smoke, it's your job is on the line. Like you don't want to be wrong about smoke, especially if it's just a cloud, because then you've gotten all these people out of bed. They've gotten in their helicopter. They've flown over there, and like, hey, knucklehead, it's a low hanging cloud. You don't want to be that guy. I get it. I get it. You don't want to be that guy. And if you're that guy and you call in low hanging clouds, 5 times and you don't call in any fires, that you probably lose your job. So I get the first sign. Look at the spyglass. You see a little bit of smoke. Hey, it's just a little bit of smoke. It might be somebody with a campfire. It could be isolated. It's even though I can see it from 100 miles away, it still may not be anything. But we all know where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. So when I started the show about 5, 6 years ago, I brought up the smoke of Islam, right? There's Islamic communities. They're burning Yazidi girls in cages alive. They're burning them alive. Islam in the past has spiked young girls, put a pole through their bottom, through their mouth, like they were humans on a barbecue pit, like a barbecue spit, because they wouldn't convert to Islam. And Islam hasn't changed. In 1400 years, Islam has not changed. Islam is not going to change. They invigorate their young men to become jihadis, to kill, rape indigenous populations, and convert them to Islam or die. I was throwing smoke. Guys, over here, telescope, smoke, there's fire. This is 1400 years. We don't have to go back 1400 years to know where there's smoke, there's fire. Do we? I mean, when that ranger looked out through his telescope and he saw the smoke, his job was to call in the fire. Not try to figure out whether or not it was a bad fire, not try to figure out whether or not it's a campfire. There's smoke where there shouldn't be smoke. Somebody needs to get there and put this and find out why there's smoke and put it out. Right? That's the response. That's the response that you need. That's the response that you have to have. Because if you don't put that fire out sooner, what's going to happen to the fire? What's going to happen? Fire's going to do what fires do in forests. What do fires do in forests? They burn them down. So the only way to stop a fire early is to catch it early. Because once a fire starts, New York, East Coast, Canada, once a fire starts, it's almost impossible to put out until it runs out of fuel. So we have a fire in America right now, and our man on the watchtower is President Donald J. Trump. That's our man on the watchtower. That's the person we elected to be on that watchtower and look for smoke. He's telling us there's smoke in the elections. There's smoke. And not only is there smoke, there's a fire. And he sees the fire. He's got documents of the fire. He tells the fuel's coming in from China. The fuel's coming in from Russia. The fuel's coming in from inner city Democrats that have been stealing elections for decades. And he's saying, this isn't just a brush fire. This isn't just somebody barbecuing. These are organized theft of our votes. Well, in a republic, if someone is cheating on the votes, you don't have a republic. You don't have a republic because your vote doesn't count. Because the only people that count are the people that are counting the votes. And the people that are putting in the votes that they're counting, if they're putting in fraudulent votes, then the people that are counting the votes shouldn't be counting those. But again, they've set up a system. We're in full range. We're in full forest fire mode. Full forest fire. It's been going on. That smoke has been going on for decades. Places like St. Louis, Kansas City, any place where you have a Democratic enclave, where Democrats have ruled and controlled the votes for decades, there is smoke. 100% smoke. Because those are the places like Milwaukee, Chicago, Atlanta, Detroit, St. Louis, Kansas City. They just they just saved about, I think, 9 children from sex slavery in Kansas City during the World Cup. Thank you, FBI. Thank you, ICE. Thank you, Kansas City Police. Thank you for saving those children. God bless you. God bless you. but they knew there was smoke there. They knew there was smoke in Kansas City because that's where the pedophiles go. The pedophiles go, and they want their traveling children because they're out of their country, out of their city, out of their state, and they feel like they've got carte blanche to fulfill Satan's obligation to abuse and destroy the innocence of childhood. We're not talking about the sex industry. We're talking about sex slavery of children. Now, most people, sane people, would be against a 10-year-old or 12-year-old girl having sex with a 50-year-old man. They'd say, like, that's wrong. Like, that's not only wrong, that's illegal. It's not only wrong, it's not only illegal, but somebody needs to go to jail, and we need to protect that 12-year-old girl from the bastards that are trying to rape her. Because if we can't protect a 12-year-old girl from 50-year-old men that are trying to rape her, what good are we as a society? What good are you as a dad? What good are we as policemen? What good are we as a country if we can't protect 12-year-old girls from being raped by 50-year-old men? We suck. We suck. We're not seeing the smoke. So President Trump is seeing the smoke. It's not just a little smoke. It's a full-blown fire. And he's seeing it from the top of the range out his telescope going, I see the smoke. I've got documents of the smoke. I can see the cheating that's been going on in our elections from foreign nationals and from Democrats for decades, and I can see it right here. They even cheated me. They smoked me out of even finding out about it because they wouldn't even tell me about it. So this fire is so bad. This fire is so bad that even me, as the lead detector of fires, they hid the smoke from me as president. And I've got the documents to prove that they hid the smoke because they didn't want me to put the fire out. It's like, now I'm back. I see the documents. I've got better people working for me. The fire is fully raging. The fire is fully raging, and it's coming at the midterms in November. It's like, it's not far off. The fire is fully raging, and if we don't do something by the midterms, by November, it's going to engulf our entire country. What is the president supposed to do? What is the president supposed to do about this fire? Ask yourself, what is he supposed to do? He's got so many people in both political parties that benefit from the fire, that benefit from the fraud, that benefit from burning your money and your child's future. And he's building, but there's all these people that are lighting matches. They're just lighting matches and starting. They're lighting matches in New York. They're lighting matches in Atlanta. They're lighting matches in Chicago. They're lighting matches in California. They're pyromaniacs of our society. They're pyromaniacs. And wherever Trump goes to put out a fire, wherever Republicans go, conservatives go to conserve our republic, there's a progressive with a match. And that match is to start a fire. And you don't see them with the match, but you see the smoke from the fire. You see the documents of the cheating. We all just watched it with the Los Angeles election, right? I mean, that was not a legitimate election. The third place finisher, the person that got the third most votes, and it wasn't even close, from the first place person, Karen Bass, to the second place finisher, the Republican, that can't think of his name in a second, to the third place finisher, but in the mail-in ballots, somehow the third place finisher got more votes than it wasn't the same percentages going down. No. The third place finisher got more votes than anybody. Got more votes than the first place finisher. Got more votes than the second place finisher. By a lot. By thousands and thousands and thousands. So somehow these mail-in ballots, the same people who live in the same city that when they voted in person, voted for Karen Bass and Spencer. I think his name is Spencer. Spencer Pratt. But when it came time for the mail-in ballots, they were all for the third place finisher. Now, that's not smoke. That's fire. That's fire. And what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. And that's the problem. That's the problem why we need Save America Act. It's because if we don't do anything, the people with the matches keep lighting fires and burn it all down. They burn your future down. They burn our cities down. And the people that live in the cities, the people that live in LA, the people that live in St. Louis, the people that live in Kansas City, they're Americans. They are Americans. And they don't deserve to live in a fire. They don't deserve to live in hell. They deserve the same rights and privileges as all Americans to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But we only get that in a voting republic, not a democracy, a constitutional republic where your rights as an individual are constitutionally guaranteed. They can't take these rights away from you regardless of what state you live in. It doesn't matter what state. They can't vote you not to have the life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They can't vote to own your house. They can't vote to take away your property. You have constitutional rights. In New York, the communists, the Islamists. In California, the communists, the Islamists, are voting themselves to take other people's stuff. Right? Because they're the ones that are lighting the fire. They're the ones that are stealing the elections. So as long as they're stealing the elections, as long as that you've got the little match lighters out there that are burning it down, you can't have a republic. You can't have fair elections in Boise, Idaho, where everybody gets to vote, and then go to New York where your vote doesn't mean jack shit. You can't have it. You can't have it. If your vote in St. Louis, Missouri has to have the same power and privilege and right as somebody's vote in New York City. You can't have a communal vote where nobody's vote matters in New York, and you still can't elect people. The people that get elected still can't abridge the constitutional republic vote. They keep talking about Democrat, and we live in a republic, right? And the problem with a democracy is it's called majority rule. What's wrong with majority rule? Well, what's to say the majority is Muslim? Let's just walk it through. You live in a township called New Palestine in Illinois. Now, New Palestine, all the Muslims in all the surrounding counties, they moved to New Palestine. Now, you've lived in New Palestine, you've been an American in New Palestine, but now they say you live in New Palestine. And they want you to live under Sharia law in New Palestine because it's New Palestine. It's now a Muslim enclave in America. They tell you that 12-year-old girls can now marry 50-year-old men under Sharia law. So that 10-year-old, that 11-year-old girl that's going to school with your daughter at the New Palestine public school, she's now wearing a hijab, and your 12-year-old girl in second grade, let's do the math here. 16 is sophomore, 15 is freshman, 14 is 8th grade, 13th is 7th grade, Your sixth grade girl. Your sixth grade girl. She goes to class. She goes to class. And her classmate is wearing a gold wedding band and a hijab. Her classmate in sixth grade is now married to a 50-year-old Muslim man. Arranged marriage through her parents. And there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Your sixth grade daughter is now in class with a married Muslim woman. At 12. Who's being raped by her Muslim husband. 50 plus years old. And that's Sharia law, kids. That's Sharia law. No Muslim is going to condemn it. They're not going to condemn a 50-year-old man having sex with a sixth grader. Do you know why they're not going to condemn it? Do you know why? Because their prophet Muhammad had sex with a 12-year-old girl. I think maybe even 10, but it may have been 12, 10, 12. I think he married her when she was 6 and had sex with her when she was 10. That's their prophet. That's their prophet. I've been on this mountain for 5 years. I've been screaming into the microphone, screaming into it. Do not let Muslims into our country. Don't let them in. They're going to destroy it. And I may have started this show after 9/11. I don't know. I'd have to go back through and see when I started the show. Hey, Justin, when did I start doing this show? What year? Will you go back through and look and see? But we said we'd never forget. We said we'd never forget. But I guess never forgetting versus fighting to stop what's coming are two different things. I don't think in 2001, when 9/11 happened, that we understood the powers that would come into play with the media, with the lying. It's not smoke. It's not smoke. It wasn't Islam. It wasn't Islam that took down the Twin Towers. It was just some crazy guys. Just some people did something. It wasn't Islam, even though the Muslims were celebrating. Even though the Palestinians give out candy every time a Jew is killed. It's not Islam, even though the Muslims burned Yazidi girls alive in cages for not converting to Islam. It's not Islam. It's not Islam. What is it? What is it if it's not Islam? What is it? That when the Young Turks, and CNN has a show called The Young Turks. They memorialized the effing Young Turks. Do you have any idea who the Young Turks were? I guarantee you don't. Guess you don't. I guarantee you don't know who the Young Turks were. But CNN had a show that memorialized what the Young Turks did. They were their heroes. Seng Uygur, whatever her name is, the guy that hosted the show. He called his show The Young Turks because they're his heroes. There's not a little puff of smoke on the mountaintop, guys. The mountain range is on fire. And the smoke now is making it where you can't breathe in Chicago, where you can't breathe in New York, where you can't live in Los Angeles. It's not just smoke, kids. It's on fire. Our country is on fire. And the fire chief, Donald Trump, is telling you that the fire is bad. That this fire is so bad that if we don't do the Save America Act, if we don't employ and deploy our resources to bring back the sanctity of the vote, that the people that steal the votes, that fake the votes, are going to continue to empower and feed fuel to the fire. And the fire is Islam, guys. The fire is Marxism. The fire is burning. The smoke's rising above the trees. It's choking people to death in New York and Chicago. And yet, what are we doing about it? The Save America Act still hasn't passed. It's still not law. So you're President Trump. You're the man in charge of putting out the fire before it burns the entire country down. You've had patriot blood, your own blood at Butler, PA, and patriot blood through two and a half centuries, spilled to protect the constitutional republic that guarantees our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But there's a fire raging to take it all away. And some people, where they live in these fires, like say New Palestine, where they're, 12-year-old girls are on the marriage block, or New York, or California, or Texas, where the same thing is happening. They're opening Sharia courts. The fire is raging. And the people that have been elected by you, or have been elected by the cheaters, aren't letting you do anything about it. They're not letting you put the fire out. They're telling you there's no water in the fire main. They're telling you that the fire trucks don't go that deep into the mountains. They're telling you that to want to put the fire out, makes you an Islamophobe. What? They're telling you to make it where your vote matters, to make it where your vote counts, and not everybody can fake votes, throw in votes, create votes. Stealing your vote, the most precious thing our forefathers died for, so that your vote matters. There are people that steal it. They steal it, and they don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about their stealing. Just like the fraudsters in Minneapolis. They're taking your money. You think they're doing something wrong? They're laughing at you. They're laughing at you. How stupid are these sons of bitches? They let us into their country, then they let us defraud their children and their future with these stupid-ass tax frauds. And we've got politicians, if we give them a few bucks, they help us. They show us how to do it. You don't think the Somalis walked in here and knew how to defraud the federal government? No. They had help. They showed them how to open the clinics. They showed them how to do the billing. You don't think the Somalis just walked in and figured out how to do this all on their own, do you? No way. Not a chance in hell. They had people helping them for a piece of the pie. Like, you go down as a criminal, but you give me a slice of the pie. You pay the price if you get caught, if they figure out how to stop us. But you just give me a piece of the pie legally. We'll figure out how to do it legally so I don't go to jail. Or you do it under the table, cash. Hundreds of millions of dollars. The fire is raging. Your commander-in-chief sees the fire raging, and he's trying to tell you the fire is raging. The smoke is so bad now, so bad, that even with everything I've done, it's not enough to stop the fire. I've got to have help. And the Save America Act is how I get help. What's he going to do? What is our leader, the person that's in charge, 250 years of freedom, Vietnam, World War II, World War I, Korea, Civil War, Revolutionary War. All these people died so that your vote matters, so that your vote counts. But it doesn't, because they steal. The smoke is there, the fire's there. They steal your votes. They create fraudulent votes. They create fraudulent memes. The people that are supposed to tell you the truth don't tell you the truth. They blow more smoke. CBS, NBC wouldn't even carry the president of our country, they wouldn't even carry his speech. You've got the smoke from the fire, and then you've got the people blowing the smoke right up your arse. CBS, NBC, ABC, Yahoo, MSN Now, Google, right up your arse. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? You got a job, you got to work, you got to get paid. If you get online and say stuff like I do, you're going to get fired. So what are you going to do? You're busy feeding your family. You know that it's wrong for a 50-year-old man to marry a 12-year-old girl, but your daughter sits in class with a 12-year-old Muslim girl that's married to a 50-year-old man. Getting raped every night. And in Sharia, it's legal. Legal. She's probably going to have a child at 13. She's not going to know any better. Her parents let her get raped by a 50-year-old man. When she's 20, you think she's going to blame? What's she going to do? She's been beaten and raped for the last 8 years of her life. Do you think she's going to scream for freedom? Or do you think she's going to scream to end our way of life? She's going to scream to end our way of life because she's going to want the same hell we just allowed her to go through. What does Trump do at this point? What does Trump do? And we're going to come back and we'll give you my recommendations for what Trump has to do soon. I don't know the timing of it, but I'm going to come back and tell you what Trump has to do. We're going to listen to a little music, and then we're going to finish the show. And we're going to tell everybody how we're going to put this fire out. And let's go to, what do you think? What do you think? We're all going to do it. We're going to do it with the grace and joy and love of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Don't
All right. So Muhammad married Aisha when she was 6 years old and had sex with her when she was 9. So 9 years old, I think I may have got the class wrong. So let's go back to 9 years old. If you're 16 and a sophomore, 15, 14 as a freshman, 13, 12 in 8th grade, 11, 12 in 7th grade, 10, 11 in 6th grade, 9, 10 in 5th grade. So 5th grade. Your 5th grade daughter. She got married when she was 6. So fifth grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade. 2nd grade. Aisha got married to a 50-year-old man when she was in 2nd grade. They're still doing it all over the Muslim world. They still are doing this in America. They're doing this to little girls. Their prophet did it. Do you think they think it's wrong? They know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. They don't give a shit. Because their book, their Bible, their Quran tells them that their prophet did it. 1,600 years, they haven't changed. They're not going to change for America. America couldn't change communist China. We're not going to change the prophet of Satan. It's not going to change. We need to get them out of our country. That should have been the lesson of 9/11. Not never forget, is get them the hell out of our country. Because these people are never going to assimilate into our way of life. All right. Last part of the show. What does Trump have to do? These are unprecedented times. Unprecedented. When we had the Civil War, it wasn't a cut and dried ending. The South, because of cotton, had wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Cotton was an insanely profitable crop. And one of the reasons why the North didn't want the South to succeed, to leave, was because cotton was making so many people so much money in the South. Cotton was the fabric, was plastic, and the South had it. The South had it. And they were raking in the money, raking it in. And the North probably wanted more of it, more of that money the South was getting. And so slavery did end up being an issue, but it wasn't an issue right away. Like slavery had occurred throughout human history. Slavery is still occurring today in Africa and in the Middle East, and probably in China. Slavery still occurs. People with money are brutal. People with power are brutal. That's why the U.S. Constitution and our republic is so beautiful, because our forefathers died so we wouldn't have to live under the oppressive boot of a Maduro or a Karl Marx or a Chairman Mao. That's why the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, because live free or die. You have a choice. You have a gun. If they want to take this away from you, you have a gun. Ladies and gentlemen, Muslims, let me back this up, because I don't want to go from one to the other, because that's not what I want. The President of the United States needs to invoke the Insurrection Act. The reason I went to the Civil War is because at the end of the Civil War, President Lincoln, in trying to, after we defeated the South at war, 500,000 people dead to end slavery and to end the division of our country. Many southern states were still Democrats, were still encouraging slavery, were still encouraging black people not to have any rights, but they were kind of like, yeah, we lost the war, but we're really not going to change. We're really not going to. We don't buy into your bullshit of the free slaves, and we've got all this money coming in from cotton, and you're not going to, we're really going to do what we want to do anyway. We're not going to listen to you. Okay. So what did Lincoln do? What did the winners of the Civil War do? For this Democrats and states that wouldn't change their laws to become part of the United States. They still lived in the Civil War. They still lived as in the Confederacy. They really didn't think they had lost. And they're the ones that were living there, so they could make whatever laws they wanted. They could prosecute whoever they wanted. They could persecute whoever they wanted. Because the Northerners, the people that died, were still up north, right? They're not living here. They're not the sheriff. They're not the judge. They're not the ones that are down here actually making laws and putting people in prison or hanging people or executing people. Those people are letting people vote. Those people are up north. They don't live down here. We can do whatever the hell we want. Maybe federal law, but it ain't Alabama law. It ain't Mississippi law. It ain't Georgia law. It ain't Florida law. Right? You see it all the time. See it right now in Minneapolis. Deporting illegal immigrants. It may be federal law, but it ain't Minnesota law. Really? Really, it ain't Minnesota law. Okay? It ain't California law to deport illegals. We're going to have a sanctuary city. So what did Lincoln do? What did Lincoln do to preserve the Union after the Civil War? He did a thing called the Insurrection Act. Now, the Insurrection Act allowed the federal government to take over and implement federal law, constitutional law, where the states, the Democrat states of the Confederacy, were not following federal law. So corrupt judges, corrupt politicians, corrupt sheriffs now were under federal jurisdiction under the Insurrection Act. That's what Trump needs to do. Wherever state law, state politicians, state judges, wherever jurisdiction, whatever city. So let's take St. Louis, for example. St. Louis, Kansas City. Wherever the elections have been corrupt, wherever there's smoke, there's fire. You don't get smoke without there being a fire. Wherever there's smoke, the Insurrection Act needs to be put into place until the fire is put out. Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, St. Louis, Kansas City, Dallas, Houston, Los Angeles. And when it becomes to an entire state, New York, Minnesota, California, Illinois, whenever an entire state has become so smoke-filled, so much on fire, that the politicians are corrupted, the people are corrupted, a majority of the people are corrupted, the election is corrupted. Even if a majority of the people want Marxism, want Sharia law, they don't get it. The majority of the people in the South wanted slavery. They didn't get to keep their slaves. You know why they didn't get to keep their slaves? Because we beat them in war, and we put in the Insurrection Act, and we installed laws that we put people in prison through military tribunals that wouldn't follow federal law. That's what we have to do. That's what Trump is going to have to do, because so many of our politicians, Republican and Democrat, are corrupted by the bullshit. CNN, MSNBC, Google, the messaging, our universities, so many of our institutions are corrupted by the bullshit of Islam and the bullshit of Marxism, that the only way to honor the sacrifices of the past 250 years and ensure that a constitutional republic survives when we're at the other end of this war is the Insurrection Act. That's it. The Insurrection Act is the answer. Trump's not going to get his Save America Act through Congress, because Democrats will never win another election if we have a secure vote. They'll never win. They're never going to let this through. They'll corrupt enough Republican politicians. They'll corrupt enough judges. They'll corrupt enough of the things that matter to make it where you can't do it. The only answer is the Insurrection Act, military tribunals for those people that obviously break the law. Because here's the other problem. I haven't gotten into this, but I want you to think about something. Our laws were written for a Christian, a Judeo-Christian population. Our laws were not written for a Muslim population. They're not written for a Muslim population. We can't defend against a Muslim insurgency. We can't, because our laws weren't written for a Muslim insurgency. Our forefathers basically didn't even know what Islam was. They had some inclination, but they didn't. This was 1700. They should have. I mean, Islam had been around for 1600, for 1700, so for 1100 years. So Islam had conquered Europe, slaughtered, the caliphates didn't just start with the Young Turks in Armenia. Our politicians should have known that someday Islam would come to our country and try to destroy us. They should have known that. Marxism didn't exist yet. Till they fought, they wrote laws against oligarchy, against monarchy, to protect you as a free American. But they couldn't foresee everything. They couldn't foresee everything. They didn't foresee Islam. They didn't foresee it as a threat to the republic. They went to war against monarchy. They went to war against oligarchy so you could be free. They sacrificed their blood so they couldn't sound the fox whistle, the dog whistle, that Americans were just dogs and kill us. That's what Islam wants to do to us. They want to sound the caliphate. That imam is preaching to kill you. I promise you that Quran wants to kill any non-believer of Islam. The Marxists are going to get to the point where they're going to want to kill you and take all your shit, because they don't want to work. They'd rather kill you than work. Do you think Muslims are any different? Do you think Muslims are any different? The Insurrection Act, ban Islam, ban all pedophilia and death cults in our country, seize their assets. Oh, this is where I was going to go. This is how I'll end the show. So, a Muslim rapes your kafir, non-believing 10-year-old daughter. All right? And he requests a jury trial. Now, in a jury trial, if you've ever been on a jury trial, all 12 of the panelists have to find them guilty of a crime. They all have to agree that they're guilty. Are you with me? Are you with me? That's how our judicial system works. A jury of your peers. That worked great. How's that going to work for the Muslim that just raped your 12-year-old daughter, 10-year-old daughter? How's that jury of peers going to work? Well, you can't ban Muslims from being on a jury. You can't do it. They won't let you do it. The Constitution won't let you ban people for religious beliefs. So now, your daughter's raped. They caught the guy who did it. He's been charged with rape of a child, and he's going to trial. And it just so happens that half the people that live in your jurisdiction that are part of the jury pool are Muslim. Huh. Okay. Well, a 50-year-old man raped my 12-year-old daughter. She fought like hell and beaten, battered, raped by this bastard, this 50-year-old bastard, this son of a bitch. But when they go through the jury pool, half the people that come in are Muslims. Half the people that come in that believe their Prophet Muhammad at 50 had sex with a 9-year-old girl. They believe in a book, the Quran, that tells them raping kafirs, non-believers in Islam, Christians and Jews, aka Christians and Jews, atheists, is okay because they're non-believers. They don't really count as human beings, especially women. Wait a minute, hold on. So what you're telling me, Joe, is that the chances of this Muslim who raped my 12-year-old, my 10-year-old girl, being found guilty by a jury of their peers, 12 people, in a Muslim, half Muslim, all it really takes is one Muslim to be on that jury to find them not guilty of a crime. And you understand that Islam supersedes any constitutional law to a Muslim. Their only law is the Quran. So guess who didn't commit a crime in the Muslims' eyes? They worship a 50-year-old man that raped a 9-year-old girl. Do you think they see that Muslim rapist of your daughter any differently than they see Muhammad? Insurrection Act. Ban all death and pedophilia cults. Islam, Marxism, and the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party should be disbanded. Abortion should be outlawed. Parties of death and pedophilia should be made illegal. And if you want to leave our country, we'll provide free transportation. We will get you out of our country so fast and so unharmed, just like we did the loyalists that we sent to Canada. If you don't want to be in America, you don't want to live under a constitutional republic, we don't want to kill you. We just want you out of our country. The smoke is the election system, guys. The smoke is the election system. It's how they're implementing all of this bullshit. It's how they've brought in all the Muslims. It's how they're implementing Marxism. The election system is rigged. It's on fire. And it's got to be changed. Support the Save America Act. And regardless, the Insurrection Act, Trump, even if they pass the Vote America Act, Save America Act, you're going to have to do the Insurrection Act. And everybody should support and promote Trump invoking the Insurrection Act, disband the Democrat Party, disband Islam in America, and disband the Marxists. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. O Lord, please help us preserve this beautiful republic, which for 250 years so many have died to protect our freedom. Please help us be the generation that continues this beautiful republic for the next generation. Amen. Have a great weekend, everybody.
There's mosquitoes on the river, fish are rising up like birds. It's been hot for 7 weeks now, too hot to even speak now. Did you hear what I just heard? Say it might have been the fiddle, or it could have been the wind. But there seems to be a beat now, I can feel it in my feet now. Listen, here it comes again.